love looking after young people and just basically helping them in their football development. The academies look after all the senior kids, all the elite kids, and we look after everyone else. The conveyor belt of talent coming from North West London isn't as frequent as South, West, East and North. So when we do have success stories, it's important that we use those as reference points to the younger people to make them know that where we come from can make.
This is where I'm comfortable. This is what gives me the most joy, watching them not being able to kick a ball, and then 6 months later they're able to do things they never envisioned them doing.
A lot of people are focused on the footballer, and then when the talent doesn't manifest in the way that the coach may like it, goodbye. For us, no, that's important.
It's giving back to the community. I've been working for the community all my life, and this is a big part of it, just giving back.
15 minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudi Lickwood, Saturday morning mayhem.
Morning, darling.
Hey, everyone.
What about them telephone? Come on, put up with the
Join them with interviews.
There's no formula there, that's what I'm saying.
Peter, hear me out, Peter. It said, can you write down the number 8 times? That means, no, it's not times, that multiplication. It said, write it down 8 times, Peter.
And quizzes.
Doesn't mean you can't repeat a word, it means you can't repeat the same sentence.
Alright then. Let's see then.
Countryman is
and
not
you can't
allowed. Countryman, yeah, and you're not allowed to store room. I'm going to ring a bell in a moment. Okay, and I'm going to leave the room. And that's when the conversation will take place.
You married?
I am not.
You ever had an affair?
I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't.
You did say it twice. Did.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't ask me the same question twice.
I agree. The same question shouldn't be asked twice.
You did ask, no, you did.
A few people are saying he did.
Wait, hold on. I feel, you know what? There's a lot of bitterness in here, yeah. And I know where the bitterness is. I know where the bitterness is coming. Bitter.
He says in his chats.
You're bitter.
Yeah, keep that.
15 minutes with Rudi Lickwood and DJ Countryman. Saturday mornings, gonna be the same again.
Incredible!
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood, the topical interactive chat show where you may end up being one of the guests.
So what is
with
this
special guest and
quiz
the audience
to depopulate the
with
planet?
Rudi Lickwood.
Who them gonna
this event
populate
is
it
brought
with?
to you by Comedy Hotspot. Don't forget, keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood.
As approximately 60 odd million, nearly 70 million people in an area mass 88,000 square miles of land. Ghana, which is one of the smallest countries in Africa, has a population of approximately 30 million, with a land mass of 92,000 square miles of land. So where is overpopulated?
Right.
China has 1.3 billion people. Yeah. Yet China can fit within the southern regions of Africa. Yeah.
Alone.
Alone. And that area don't have 1 billion people.
Right.
So where is overpopulated? Who are they talking about? People need to learn and study science, geography, and mathematics. Don't let these people come and bamboozle you. Malcolm X tell us already, you've been bamboozled. No, we haven't. We're
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood. This is an 18 certificate only.
How well does a community take care of itself? According to a recent study, a single pound circulates in the Asian community for 28 days, in Jewish communities for 20 days, in white communities for approximately 17 days, and the black community, 6 hours. This is what we at the Black Wall Street UK desperately want to change. We've developed a unique mobile app called the Black Wall Street UK. This is a business directory for black-owned businesses all across the UK. With the Black Wall Street UK app, you can find any black-owned businesses around you with a tap of a finger. So next time you're searching for a nearby hair product store or a nail shop or an estate agent or any black-owned business or service provider, just do a super quick search on the Black Wall Street UK. Our app allows you to search by business type and location. You can save your favourite businesses, add your own black-owned business, read reviews from other clients and much more. The Black Wall Street UK, the entire UK black community at your fingertips. Free app now available on Apple and Play Store. www.thebblackwallstreetuk.com.
When we go shopping, he carries the shopping bags.
So you're not carrying nothing?
No, I just walk with my 2 hands free. Honestly,
I don't know.
We're running out of time.
Wait.
Time. Red card. Red card.
What's your turn? I'll say first of all, those who are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to YouTube.
Respect your husband, all right? Allow him to be the man he can be. Don't cheat, all right? Make sure. Shut up! Allow him to talk.
I'm gonna turn off my camera.
Yes or no? Altia?
Nope. Never have.
Very cool.
The question is, countryman, have you done it?
Nice.
Okay.
Some flags up there.
Have you ever slept with one of your ex's friends?
Rudi, have you?
Does fingering count?
At least I forget to tell you about the 24-hour live event that's going to be taking place. And I will be doing a collaboration alongside Natasha Vigil and Lorraine and Hugh Benlow. They are the owners of the Black Business Recommendation. It's a fantastic organization that gets black businesses working and collaborating with one another. Natasha, she runs the Black Wall Street of London. It's a virtual marketplace, and we've decided to basically come together 12 a.m. till 12 a.m. And just working together. Do not forget to subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Subscribe, hit the button, subscribe, hit the button. If you're on Facebook, make sure that you like the page. By you liking the page, you will receive your notifications, whether you're in YouTube or whether you are, of course, in Facebook.
What you put me up this
It was a cassette, you know, when you had to put the pencil in between into the hole. Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice. As a Christian, you know, my Christian beliefs are they're very strong, and I'm not going to violate my relationship with God to please another human being.
But straight away back, you know, red flag, you know, phone community, why are we the guinea pigs now?
Accountable. I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all.
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know. But I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, their trauma.
But in Ubuntu, we have programs that kind of look at identity, raising self-esteem, looking at our history.
Often when you watch the news and stuff, everyone's talking about race. You know, and I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know, just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
You know, and if you ain't got enough to do it in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. You know, we've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be rife throughout our community now.
If she's saying pie, that means that 8:15 is gone, man.
Ooh, morning, people.
Morning. Good morning.
Maybe I'm mute myself.
Everybody's just started popping in at the right time. I was like, you know, they're going to see that we've started. I said to myself, we were just going, but allow me to introduce you to everyone. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rudi Lickwood, Rants and Bants with my co-host Aston Matapha Jones to my far right. Or is it left? It's left to you guys, isn't it? It's left to you guys. This morning in the middle there, we've got Julie Juice. How you doing, Jules?
Morning. Friday blessings, everyone. Hi.
Friday blessings. Below me, we've got Natural Mystic.
Grand Risings family, how you all doing?
Grand Rising. And of course, we have Coach Astrid.
Morning meditations.
Oh,
How
yes.
are you?
I was listening. Trust me, I was listening. You know, you don't have to repeat the 5 things. You can, of course, use the previous 5. It's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
I was actually
5 I ams.
the 5 I ams, of course. I was actually listening. So please don't think that I wasn't coach, because I was.
Good.
Our guest is on his way, just taking his time. We've really got no rush at the end of the day. You know, use the private chat. Let us know what's going on. Can help you out still. So how has the week been, people?
Interesting.
Wow.
That's a great word.
Interesting.
Why?
12 months, isn't it?
No.
Ooh, I know, right? It's been a whole year.
Oh, yeah.
It has been a whole year.
Talk the truth. Realization of inactivity. Wow. Serious, man. And like even when I was doing my review of my finance, Lord have mercy. How can shops be closed and I'm spending so much? How can they?
Online. You depend on the online.
New way of living online. You don't have to step out your house.
How do you run out of loo roll, but they can make more? How does it run out? How does it ever run out? But I don't understand. If you can make more, how do you run out of it?
Well, you mean they stopped selling the Sun newspaper?
They stopped selling it. That's right.
Okay, I ain't got no socks left. I just
the most valuable commodity for me last year as a baker was flour, and I had the whole family going, "Julie, you bake? You've got flour?" I'm like, "Yeah, cause I bake. What do you want? Me need to do some dumpling." I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
Wow.
There was a serious dumpling saga in the
like a
family
different
last
white
year.
powder. You can charge the most per ounce for that. Don't worry.
I should have, like saffron. I should have treated it like saffron, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Always a hustler, huh? Always a hustler.
It's got to be done, isn't it? Yeah.
So what did you actually stock up? Was you actually stocked up on flour because of the baking? Yeah.
No, I naturally buy more flour anyway, so I buy more. But I had flour, and I don't know. Somebody preempted me and said, "Julie, you need to buy some flour." So for about 6 or so weeks, I was buying an extra 2 packets, looking a little bizarre. And then I had, I don't know, 20 bags of flour, which I then had to distribute out to the family. So because there was a dumpling saga, fried dumpling saga, and a boiled dumpling because people still wanted soup, So they're saying, well, Julie, you bake. Where's the flour? So yeah, it was an astute move. I just don't know. I just had a friend that said, "Oh, Julie, you bake. Stock up." That was back in February, so over a year ago. She said, "Stock up," and I went, "Oh, I normally do at Christmas, but I buy the extra bag." But yeah, I bought about 20, and it disappeared very quickly.
Wow.
I never had a problem though. I'll be honest. I live on my own, so I fly by night eat sort of thing. Yeah, when I actually went to the supermarket and I realised it was empty, I just laughed. I literally just chuckled. I was like, "What are you all doing?"
Exactly.
Did you see the videos?
Go on.
Sorry, did you see the videos of people's houses where, like, they had a bathroom full of just
produce? Yeah.
But that's what I couldn't get. Why was there such a race to get toilet roll? That made no sense to what was happening in the world. Toilet roll, really?
Yeah. It was the thing where I thought they're not turning off the water.
No, that's me. That's not you guys.
I don't know.
Sound like a sound system, doesn't it?
Yes. I was like, they're not turning off the water.
Oh my gosh, we've got him in double vision.
Stereo, in stereo.
One is enough, Rudy. Honestly, one of you is actually enough.
It's enough, yes.
Right, I will be back in a sec.
Okay. He's gone again.
What?
He's gone again.
He said he'd be back in a moment.
Sabotage.
So what's been the major impact, or good or bad point of what's happened over the last year? Then what's happened? What's been good for you?
Okay.
Go on.
I was gonna say for me, I've been a 60, 70, 80 hour a week working person because I worked in care. I luckily just came out of the industry just before all of this kicked off, like end of January, February. I just had something in my gut telling me that wasn't the right industry to be in at that time. I then joined Zoom calls 50 weeks ago.
You can hear a selector come in now.
In it, and after the first 6 weeks or so, I was lucky. We came up with an idea to capture the moment. As we said, we don't think this was ever going to happen again. So 22 got together, and we wrote a book. We wrote a chapter each, and
fantastic.
In 6 weeks, I'll plug it quickly because I've been told I'm allowed. I just show you the cover.
Man. I was going to say.
It's called, I don't know if you can see it there because of the background, but it's called Life in a Lockdown 2020 Behind Closed Doors. And it's literally just how we felt during the first 6 weeks because we'd never experienced it before. So yeah, that's it's been nearly a year that's been on the shelves as such, or been on
How much is that, Lescha?
It's $3.99 on Kindle, and I think it's $7 or $8.99 for the paperback copy.
Perfect. Thank you.
I can drop links into everything. Yeah, Life in a Lockdown. and inner, not the English in a lockdown.
What?
Like
You
inner
hate.
lockdown.
I double
double
N,
N, you hate.
yeah. Like your fan system, Rudy. In a
Right.
different
But
time.
as we're talking, our guest has actually arrived.
Okay.
So
Welcome.
let's
Welcome.
Thanks for asking. How's everybody else?
Greetings.
Hold on.
First of all, let me apologize because I am violating all of you by having a white background. I feel terrible.
No, don't feel terrible.
I've been trying all morning. I've got an old Mac, and it doesn't support virtual backgrounds. So if I use it, it'd be the same scenario. I'd be like that behind me. So I've tried every virtual. It just doesn't work.
I think you should re-divert the funds from the roof to the Mac.
Wow. My man's going in already. Wow.
You took it there, Rudy.
Wow.
I was going to say shuffle the wish list.
I'm hiding now. I'm hiding.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, so good morning, all. Good morning.
Good morning.
By God's grace, the next time we come on, I will have, because my wife has a new Mac, and I could have used her Mac, but unfortunately she's not here. She left me. No, she's with her parents because her parents unfortunately got struck down with the COVID in a bad way. Bad way. So they need constant care. So she goes down there a few days a week just to take care of them.
Yeah, man.
So that's where she is now. Yeah, so you have to look after mummy and daddy, because they brought us in the world, and we have to respect them. So that's where she's at. So that's why otherwise I would have just jumped on her. I would have jumped on her Mac, and everything would have been cool, and I would look like all of y'all.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I hope that's incense. That's.
Yeah, man. No, watch it. It's one of them.
Is that one of the stuff that you bought online last year?
I was like,
what's going on there?
Did you not see that little puff of smoke just come from? I was like, hold on a minute, man, I'm on a pipe, but that's a wagwan.
You see? As a diffuser, man. Diffuser. I have to calm my nerves when I were around all of them sistering there, Oh.
You didn't expect to get away with that statement.
But you were hosting a moment ago. You were co-hosting a moment ago, Aston. And you was I think you was asking something. You were.
Yeah. I was just asking, what's the impact, the positive, negative of over the last 12 months for us? How has it affected you personally in that way?
I know for me, it was a novelty to start with. I'm like, I'm gonna be home, but because I did my own thing anyway, I did my own business. I was used to being home, so that for me wasn't too much of a change. But I found I got so much more creative because that's where my mindfulness meditation was born because of lockdown. I started it through the first lockdown. And it benefited so many people that I just do it every single morning for everybody who wants to come on. And I encourage people to like and share and come on and listen. I mean, I had some messages last night from people in America who had managed to catch it and found it useful. Although it's a different time, they know that they can come on and watch on the replay and that kind of thing. So that, because it's affected so many people from a mindset perspective, it's helped them to kind of really relax, be calm, be a lot more in tune with themselves and their bodies, and it's just helped them just have a very kind of calming morning or calming start to their day and an energizing start to their day as well, so they're focused and positive and productive. So that for me was a big thing, a big positive. Like Natural, I was involved in a book as well, So did a book. My book was called The Stories of Truth and Triumph. So it was a lot of ladies who got together to tell our story on an event that happened to us that has made us who we are today, basically. And the funds for that actually went towards a charity called Megan Space for young people who are suffering with mental health issues and challenges, and for those that are thinking about committing suicide and that type of thing. So all of the funds are going towards that charity to help that charity to help young people. I wrote poetry. I've been on so many Zoom parties. I ran challenges in my Facebook group as well. So I got so much more done actually because of the lockdown. It was really good for me. And the last week or the beginning of this month, I was able to speak on international stages as well. So I'm an international speaker now. I know, right? And it's opened up so many more doors for me, funny enough, being on lockdown than not. I may not have got those opportunities had we not been on lockdown. So I just see it as a positive. I just see it as a positive. There are days where I really don't want to get out of bed. I do have those days because I'm human. But at the same time, for the most part, it's been really good. It's been really, really good for me.
But then, what have you seen in the community, though, Kev, over the year? With regards to the lockdown and how it's affected people within the community, generally speaking, that is.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I've been saying is that there's a narrative that has been deliberately pushed on us to bring us to be even more divided than we were before, and to try and marginalize the whole population as a whole. So it's like if you don't take the vaccine, for example, you're killing people. So it's like, if you're taking the vaccine, you're fighting, you're arguing against the people who are not taking the vaccine. So there's been that narrative that has been put out there to try and divide us, because as we all know, united we stand, divided we fall, and they're using the whole lockdown pandemic to further divide and separate us and isolate us from each other. And that has been something that I've certainly seen. There's been a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. The mental health side of the lockdown is the worst part of it of all. Because, people being in isolation, people not meeting family and friends, that has been the biggest thing that I've seen. People have literally been worried. They've been terrified. The language has been quite scary. People are like fear, worry, stress, and if you look at the medical statistics, which we're not going to I don't want to really go down that road, but it's like 3% of the world's population will die from COVID, which is
actually what I've heard.
It's probably less than that now. So 98% of the world's population will survive this pandemic, but yet still we're making it. And as you guys know, the government statistics that they put out there, they say that 150 people died yesterday, for example, just arbitrarily picking a number. 150 people died yesterday who tested positive with COVID in the last 28 days. So if you die in a car crash, but you tested positive, that's a COVID death.
Yes.
And so all the figures that they're putting out there are just breeding fear, and people are genuinely fearful, genuinely worried, stressed out economically, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It's mad. And one of the things I've been trying to do is just trying to encourage people, inspire people, empower people, that your life doesn't have to revolve around car. I mean, for me personally, my life has been work, Costco and Tesco's.
You got all the flour and the loo roll.
Stocking up, mate. Stocking up. Because the thing is, what I'm finding is that we've got influencers who are unbeknown to themselves are acting quite divisively. And sometimes, you know, you got to, it's just, no.
What's up, people? Just chilling at home. It's been a tiring day. I was in the studio this morning doing some of the narration for my book, Cat Candid, coming out. Get it, people. Don't make me do all this work for nothing. And I think it's a good book. I'm actually enjoying reading it. I didn't enjoy writing it as much because it was hard work, but I'm enjoying reading it. So you know, I think you'll like it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to give you lot a little update. Since yesterday, I got the vaccine yesterday, around 12 p.m. I've had no ill effects. I feel pretty good. My arm's still sore and a little bit swollen from the injection site because it goes right into the muscle. Been getting a lot of black people shouting at me on Instagram and Facebook. You can't take that. You don't know what's in there. They're trying to kill us. Black people, do you know what's in your blood pressure medication? Did you ask? Do you know what's in the diabetes medication you take? Do you know what chemicals they're putting in the ribs that you buy from the corner shop? Them chicken and waffles that you buy every week. What's in there? What ingredients do they do? What chemicals are in there? You're asking a lot of questions all of a sudden, where you never asked questions before about other stuff that you've been putting in your body. The vast majority of people refusing to take the vaccine are black people and Trump supporters. Trump took the vaccine. Trump sneaked off and took the vaccine. But his supporters who believed everything he said, are still out there running around in each other's faces and refusing to take the medication that could save their lives. And black people are doing the same shit. And find it concerning. There's always a calculated risk for the medication. People die from taking Advil every year. People die from allergic reactions to paracetamol. Yeah, a couple people might have had horrible reactions to the vaccine. I'll tell you what, I'll take my chances with that against the COVID. I just find it weird. That there's so many people online trying to convince us not to take it when everybody else is taking it. I feel that that's the conspiracy. They don't want us to take it. I feel like they're trying to get our numbers down or something. So look, it's up to you. I ain't telling people to take the vaccine. Everybody has a right to make a decision as to what is good for their body. White people are driving down to Compton to take the vaccines that black people ain't taking. And black people are being bamboozled into making bad decisions regarding their health. That is my belief. I might be wrong. I may drop dead from this vaccine next week. But for now, I feel like it's worth it. COVID, that's killing black people in unprecedented numbers, or a vaccine which has a pretty low rate of failure so far.
I find it quite interesting that Gina could say that. Because it's not that black people are anti-vaccination. We don't know what's in it. We're being very cautious. And I think a lot of people are taking their time to make their mind up, as opposed to say they just don't want to take it, or they're being totally ignorant about it. I don't think anybody within the community is above reproach when it comes to questioning people's opinion, so to speak. And
I was just going to say, it's a very personal decision. And I think this is what I personally want to get across. I'm going to compare it to having a termination of a pregnancy, or a man who will want to go and have a vasectomy because he doesn't want children, for example. It's not something that you advertise. It's not something that you go around and tell people what your next move is. It's your personal body, okay? Go off and do what it is that you want to do for yourself as an individual, or for your family, if that's what you think is good for you or not good for you. But the fact that I think that these people feel that they can shout from the rooftops because they've got a platform, and then start to dictate to us and think that we are lesser intelligent, perhaps, because we do our own personal decision, I take that as highly I'm annoyed, and I'm not going to swear. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I was saying earlier on, that they are deliberately postulating a narrative to bring about that division. It's deliberate. And when you fall into the trap of making a statement like that, it's like a puppet on a string. You're being played by the system that wants you to do that. They want us to argue about it. They want us to complain about it. And while we're arguing and complaining about it, they're carrying on with some underhanded business that we don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there's
The
the element.
thing is, right?
Sorry.
Hold up. Anyhow, the thing is, right, that there's a history. I'm sorry, the history, right, of let's say abuse, right, murders, experimentation. That scar runs deep with us, and it's not too far in our historical past. You understand? So, and then the same people who have been associated with those type of behavior are the ones that are saying, let us help you, here's a cure, right? We have proven to them on many occasions already, right, natural forms of how we can overcome this, and they've been totally dismissive of it, mainly, right,
because
in our eyes, right, because it comes from a place of where there are black people, right? Well, that's my take on it in that way there. Whether they're saying, oh, it's not going to work against the chemicals what they use to cause this thing, right? And that they've tested it and everything else. No, they haven't come back with that. They just totally dismissed it. It's not even in the discussion or anything like that.
I think the general black population as well have questioned whether it truly does cure. So if you remember when we were, most of us of the age, we were at school, we were given the vaccine for TB when we were 13 and stuff. I remember that literally eradicated tuberculosis across the country. So in actual fact, whilst there might be lots of toxins that were put into it, and I had a really terrible reaction to it, I have never been subjected to that really fatal condition, because it can kill. So in actual fact, if somebody's saying to me that, and I've spoke to quite a few people, well, there is a vaccine, it just stops you from getting sick, you need to take it again next year, and if you want to go away, you need to take it for the next 5 years, and if you need to walk across the road, you need to take it, and if you need to go into a pub, you need to take it. And people start thinking, well, I haven't done nothing for the last year, why do I need to do anything?
That's quite interesting that you say that. That's quite interesting.
Saw the exact same. A lot of people saw it. There was a UN document. This is common knowledge, and it basically outlined the lockdowns, and they just gave it to each country and allowed each country to tweak it for their own people, to make it more palpable for their people, and to give the impression that it wasn't an international document disseminated to all countries to make people think that every country made up their own rules. No. The 5 levels of lockdown were in there. In a place like Ireland, they went level 1 to 5. In a place like Canada, where we like colors, now we got green to gray. It's still 5 levels of lockdown. All the 5 levels are identical. They used Australia as the model for the 5th level of lockdown, where you can't leave your house, you can't go can't literally do anything. And that's what they really want to do here. Well, I heard about the mandatory quarantine hotels, and I knew right away it's a complete violation of our rights. And the only reason they're doing it is because they want to convince you to accept the vaccine passport. I want to stress that. Everything that they're doing, closing your business, closing your gym, forcing you to wear a mask, all the stuff they're doing is to try to convince you that it's a good idea for you to go along with this idea of a vaccine passport, so they can vaccinate you multiple times a year, every year, and then use that as an excuse to prevent you from travel, work, congregating, etc., etc., etc. And if you think
yeah, I've had information like that, that it was an African conference, and it was stated on that one, and this was like 2.5 years ago that I had that posting, right, of how they were going to outdo this type of rollout as well. So even from that, my foundation of what's actually happening, I'm very, very cautious of taking any of their advice at this time, because I just see it as a global plan in that way there to disrupt the whole world system in that way.
Okay. because there was this that came out.
Yes.
You know,
Why?
news headlines: no jab, no pint, no EU vaccine peace deal with the UK, and there's some more. Just give me a sec. The Times says the Prime Minister's comments make a significant change of approach after he appeared to rule out the idea just a month ago. The Daily Telegraph, it is in stark departure, with ministers previously insisting that vaccine certificates would be discriminatory and out of step with British values. The paper says Mr. Johnson's tactics approval has triggered a backlash from lockdown skeptic MPs who argue that giving landlords the power to demand proof of vaccination would take the UK down a dangerous path to a two-tier system.
Yep.
You know, according to The Guardian, the vaccine certificates could allow pubs to bypass social distancing rules and allow customers to crowd together. No jab, no pints is the headline in The Sun. So, you know, it appears that we're beginning to see there's a possibility that, you know, it could have been something that's been orchestrated. But it's not something that I thought that we would really focus on as such, because at the end of the day, Gina Yashere herself did actually have a response to the vaccine that she took. Okay, she was down for a couple of days with it, and recovering, etc., etc. For me, it is how it's gonna affect people long term. Me, I've, as I said personally, I've made the decision. Me now, I touch it for an entire year.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, I can give it 5 years. I've decided I'm not traveling, I'm not doing anything, but there, you know, I know people within my own peer group and what have you. In order for us to work, we need to travel. In order for us to work, we have to fall into line just to make a living. I mean, earlier on, you did say, Aston actually said he didn't know that he was spending so much money. I discovered that I didn't know that I could live on so much less.
Yes.
Because there was no income. There has been no income that has been coming in with regards to myself. It's just that I was very thrifty when I was out in Afghanistan and places like that, and I didn't just blow all the money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I've managed to keep myself going, so to speak. But there have been other things that
There's been this, Rudi. So there's been this whole experience when Lescha started saying that she went into lockdown, but so the five of you I wouldn't have met without the lockdown.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm in Birmingham, you aren't, and whilst there was the virtual world prior, that's been one of the best positives. That in actual fact I've met so many like-minded people and have the same intellect, inquisitive nature that has just, I don't know, what's the word, just ignited my thoughts again and re-energized me to think actually I wasn't that weird, although I am slightly.
Yeah, you were actually.
Yeah. I wear the badge. But actually, and a lot of young people say, oh yeah, Facebook is for the mature people, and my daughter was always saying, yeah, you're on that Facebook again, Mum. But actually, it's been a really great
lifesaver,
a really great source of relax, recoup, energy, all that kind of stuff. So that's been a really positive thing in getting a lot of like-minded people together and just utilizing this environment, this platform to speak and to socialize. It's been good.
I mean, Kev, have you been doing services via the internet now? Has that become part of?
Yeah, I mean, but just before I answer that question, Julie, why you don't accept my Facebook request? My Facebook
I'm sorry, and I was driving in the car. Wow. I was going to say bless you, but yeah, Lord.
Sorry. I couldn't resist that. It was, you know what? Not personal. I love you.
I
It's
love it.
good.
Thank you so much. Put me on a spot. Word. I did accept it on Sunday. Check it.
You know what it is? I last year I had 2,400 Facebook friends. Now I've got 4,200 in 1 year. So online.
I was wondering where all of my people gone.
I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, we went online. We the last church service we had was the 15th of March 2020. So we've been well over a year not online. But since we've gone online, we've had people in Australia watching us, in Pakistan, in India, in Africa, in Europe, in the Caribbean. We get people every single week in the Caribbean, in the United States of America. We Turks and Caicos, all over the place. It's been fantastic. Our church has grown online. The gospel is getting preached all over the place in different places. It has been fantastic. Again, all of these Zoom meetings. I do a radio show every Tuesday, and so it is myself, another DJ, brother Charles, and a rev that a lady that lives in Wolverhampton, I think. I've never met her personally, but we have become great friends in the last 12 months, and that's been fantastic. I've got you guys as well.
You do it on a Tuesday. So what is the
what's the link to? Right?
What's the link? What is the link?
Yeah, so Tuesday we have our prayer meeting, which is on for an hour, and then Sunday we have our youth service at 10:45 for under 10s, and at 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock we have the youth service for the 11 plus, and then we have our main so-called main service at 12 o'clock where I'm on that. So that's what we do.
Is it a Zoom link they have to get hold
No,
of?
no, this is on YouTube. We do it on YouTube.
So could you, in the private chat, could you if you can remember the actual link, the actual address, pop that in, right? Once you finish talking, obviously, and then I can scroll that across the bottom for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been fantastic, and as I say, I love doing service on a Sunday. Like last week, we served communion, so I have my clerical collar on. I got all my big regalia on. Well, I don't really do that, and I got my shorts.
If I was to stand up now,
it's all about the slippers, isn't it? I love it.
Don't stand up, Rudy. Stay seated, Rudy. Let's keep it PG-13, Rudy. PG-13, Rudy.
Is you bringing all of this out of me, you know?
Yeah, so it's as I say, you guys. I obviously I've known Rudy from back in the day. But meeting you guys, it's it was one. We did one show before. We've done another one, and it's enriching.
Yeah.
We have different thought processes, different persuasions, but we have some commonality.
Yes.
And if we can work together on the commonality, obviously, I'm a pastor. I love Jesus. Blah 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 blah. But if you don't believe in that, fine. But there's so much that we have in common that we can strive for. Yesterday, I put a Facebook post up about end racism, and it got shared a number of times because you got certain people who are heavily armed getting arrested, and certain people who are not armed getting murdered.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
I didn't check for the guys that are getting murdered who are black people. I didn't ask, is he a Christian? Is he Muslim? Is he an atheist? I don't ask that question. I see a black person being murdered.
Yes.
I ain't asking that question. So
they didn't even ask that question either.
That's right,
Of course not.
Yeah.
So when the man them is on the ends with their shank and they're stabbing each other, they're not stopping. Oh, by the way, before I stab you and kill you, are you a Muslim or are you a Christian or are you an atheist? Because if you're an atheist, I might not do that. Nah. So we got a lot that and it's been fantastic. And as I say, I love having meetings because I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to listen to some people chatting nonsense. I can mute their screen. I can mute them.
Switch the camera off. It's great.
Come on.
Yeah.
So for me, the lockdown's been it's been positive. But I also embrace the fact that I've conducted funerals in the lockdown. I've seen people in absolute abject pain and suffering during the lockdown. You know, when you do a funeral and a mother is, you know, a daughter is absolutely distraught because she lost her mother, and you can't even hug them. I mean, I can hug them, but if I hug the person, the next thing I'm going to get somebody take a picture and put it all over the place and look at that man breaking lockdown. And I have to use a level of wisdom. So, you know, a mother is a daughter is breaking down in tears because she's just burying her mother, and there's only like 6 people at the funeral. And you know, us black people, when we have funeral, there's 600 people there. And
don't forget the speaker box, you know.
Well,
there was an incident in Birmingham about a black funeral director who had her license taken off her, suspended for a while, for the amount of people that congregated outside the deceased house at the time because they couldn't go. And she was filmed walking down, and the Birmingham City Council suspended her license because they were saying there was too many people, and she couldn't control the amount of people. So we don't have many black funeral directors in Birmingham, but the main one, her license was suspended for a few months, and there was a massive protest. And she got it back. She obviously got it back, but it went against her. And in exactly the same thing that you were saying, Kevin, about how people would film it, or you know, and then it goes against you. So yeah, it was really difficult, quite challenging for her.
I mean, it goes back to what you were saying, Kev, about turning people against one another.
It is.
Absolutely.
I saw it from the very, very beginning of the pandemic. That was what they were doing, and particularly since the vaccine has come out, it's a deliberate ploy. Because obviously you get someone like Jeannie Asheray say, because I think it was Paul McKenzie did something, talked about it. And I
thought he put it together so well. It was just unbelievable the way he distinctly saw through the whole thing straight away. Because I mean, Gina's got other motives. Quite clearly in terms of her own profession,
of course,
to maintain. And that's why I said I don't think anyone's above reproach when looking at what's actually going on, because the influence do play a heavy role. I mean, I noticed that more so when I was watching the TV, in terms of the personalities that were sitting opposite Pierce. Shane Pierce is gone. I miss him. There's no TV to shout at. But you know, and then you kind of think. I was thinking, you lot are playing a game. You're playing a game. You know, you want to be on. You know, you want to be on Loose Women. You want to be on all of these programs. So you've got to go along with the narrative in order to, you know, get to where you want to get to. And then so I start to question your morals. I start to question your principles, and what you are sincerely about. You know, because there is a lot of information out there that makes people want to think, you know what? Let me just sit back and watch Wagwan.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, really, what's quite interesting is people who get tested regularly. My daughter's a specialist care worker, and she gets tested quite regularly, and there's been this massive pressure on her to take the vaccine, but she just says, well, if I test positive, I just have to isolate for 10 to 14 days, and then I can't be tested again for 90 days. So she just said, well, I don't understand why I need to be vaccinated. And so it's kind of like, it's questioning where people are at.
Yeah, this is the bit that it's not a cure. It's not even a preventative measure. So if you've had it, you can catch it again if you've had the vaccine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So if all it's doing, and this, my mum gave me the best explanation, like to satisfy our conversation. It's purely to stop people having the severe reactions that they've been having, and wanting to go into hospital. So all the vaccine does is give you a mild symptom, even if you do get it. It's not a cure. And because there are so many variants of the same thing that they started off with, they've already said there's different spikes, there's different things, strains. So why am I going to take vaccine A if I know that there's a strain for A, there's COVID A, K, X, 7, 24, 19. It doesn't make any sense if there's so many variants to take one thing that's only covering me for a very small portion of potentially what I may or may not catch. And it's that word potentially, the possibilities. As far as I'm concerned, my biggest gripe is that they still have not cleaned this country. Okay, in China and Japan and certain Asian countries, they literally washed the whole country down. They cleaned everything.
That's right. Everything.
And they clean everything around them. So we're all at home sitting in our lovely now spring clean homes, because it's spring now. We're infamous for going and start cleaning and wipe down skirting boards, but then we're going to walk out our front door into one of the dirtiest countries on the planet, as far as
bring back the decal. That's what I said. Bring back the decal. Bring back the PCP. That's all that's missing there. You know what I mean? But like we said, I mean, it has come about, and we have found ourselves in this situation, and it's changed a lot of things. I mean, even the way that we work nowadays, that has also changed. COVID-19, how the year when the home became the office may have changed work forever. Some have got used of going into the office, but others see it as essential to what's next for workers and city centres. You know, I mean, as somebody who does go into work, because I know that we've got a pensioner over there, sir, right?
Wow.
I know that.
Yeah, man.
I know that Lescha does her own thing, right? As well as the mentoring, as well as the caring that she does, and Astrid. Yeah, I mean, I know that using the world of corporate, etc. And also
way back in the day.
Yeah, but it's also training. So swimming pools and everything are closed. But you're going into the office, are you not? Juicy.
Yeah, probably once a month, to be fair.
Is it once a month now?
Probably once a month now. I used to go in. I work part-time, so I work 4 days a week. And I was working literally every day in those 4 days going in. And we moved offices, so we have to keep that office alive. So we go in literally once a month. But literally, Birmingham's a ghost town. I've never got to work so quick. I've never got out so quick.
Wow.
It's bizarre. And I think it's coming. I think when I go back in the next time, it'll be slightly different. But it's a real challenge, because Birmingham City Council as well, where my sister-in-law works for the City Council, they're actually saying to workers, you have a choice. You don't have to work in the office. The office is available to you. You can take all of your equipment home. So they've given them tables, chairs, you name it, 2-3 screens. And then you get £60 back at the end of the year from the tax man. But my electricity bill has gone up by £200 for the year. And you just have to manage that. And so, but then there's this whole issue. A lot of people saying that lots of buildings are they're dormant and they're not being used. So they are actually inviting community enterprises to try and to re-energize people to use the stuff. But I've got into, it would normally take me 45 minutes to an hour to get into work, and it has taken me 20 minutes.
I like it that the streets are clear. I love it. I remember when I used to go down Marylebone Road, and you may not know Marylebone Road, Julie, but the whole bit of Marylebone Road was trying to get from Edgware Road to King's Cross and going through all the lights.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're talking about.
Yeah. You must know that. And it just wasn't possible when all that congestion arrived. Yeah, and what lockdown has done is it's kind of like freed up the roads in a way. I mean, look, the other thing that lockdown has done for me is, like I said, I haven't been home since 1992, but I see more of my wife.
Yeah.
Because Jen, like she's at home today. right? Because she does like 4 days on and 4 days off. The way that her work has shifted round now, it's actually brought more family time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Aston wants to say something there.
I
know he wants to say something. You know? He's holding it down.
Right. You know what? You know, like, okay, I used to do the same. I used to travel away. I used to work away from home quite a bit. And you know when you've worked away like 9 months solid, and then you come home and you're sitting there and about a month into it, and then you're sitting around the home, and then she comes and she puts the food down and she goes, you know what? It's better sometimes when you're not here. And then she walks off, and I think, hold on, why am I doing all this work? It's like they have a different life. They have a different life, you know, when you're actually there. So you're just a visitor, in other words, you know. But get used to it, my brother.
No, I hear that. I hear that. And I think sometimes within relationships, it's actually good to have that different life.
A little space, yeah. Have a little space.
It breeds some sort of, it breeds better conversation because you've got something to talk about. You know what I mean?
On the panel, all in relationships and the women not.
Yeah, but you lot are all bitter and twisted.
Excuse me?
You lot are all bitter and twisted.
Excuse me?
He's in the building. He's in the building. Forgetting how we've been treated by the institution. We're not allowed to elevate and get to the top. You know what I mean? We ain't like you. We don't put our head down and go, you know what? I'm gonna catch him later. We would tell him about him right there and then get taken out. The moment that we open our mouth, that's, you know.
That's it. Wondering why our work pass won't work the next morning and things like that.
Wow.
You know,
I love the judgmental sexism that's coming from the. And I noticed that Pastor Kevin is sitting very silently and very secure. And letting these two just drown in the abyss.
He knows, as he said, that his wife is looking after her mum and dad at the moment. But it doesn't mean she can't catch this on the rerun. Doesn't mean she can't watch it.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy life, yeah.
You've got God on one shoulder.
Hold on. Let's take the mask off and really talk.
No, listen. 24. We've been married with 24 years in September.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the reason why I appreciate my wife as much as I do is because we've been through bad times. You know, there was a time when my wife wanted to leave me. There was a time when I wanted to leave her. So we've been in the valley and we've been on the mountaintop. So
that's real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah, man. You know, it's not easy being married to me. I'm a very driven individual. My wife is a very special woman.
To be married to you.
Sorry?
You need a thesaurus to be married to you. You know, get translations through the conversation.
You know,
I love it. It's great.
But you know, it's
that's the Facebook jibe. I got you back, yeah.
Oh yes. Touche, as they say, touche. But no, you know, marriage is you know, my wife has her own business. She works from home. So she has been at home. So she's, you know, when I take a day off, you can sort of think, oh, man's messing up my flow today. But it is what it is, you know. You know, Costco, work, and Tesco's. That's been for the last 12 months.
It was Sharon Spice actually said that she too has been provided with dual screens, laptops, desks, phones, and headsets, and then been told that it's up to us whether we return to the office. And believe it or not, Miss Gibson here, Miss Gibson is somebody I could go online at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and she's busy working away. I mean, I think this whole lifestyle and the way that one works has been a plus. Yeah, I work better at night. I work better at night.
Well, you know something like that, you can just be addicted to it, right? Obviously, you don't want to miss what's going to be happening next, or catching up on work and all that. There's a
No, but she's actually working. She's actually working, Aston.
She's doing
That's what I'm
the
saying.
international working and all them type of thing there.
I can't say exactly
timelines.
what. I mean, the day that Spice will know that come on the platform at some point, and she'll explain what she does exactly. But I know that she gets up early to work, kind of like thing, and she can multitask. That's why she can sometimes talk to me and still get her work done. I mean, Chocolate knows more so as well what Spice is like. So, but it's the whole idea now that instead of us being locked into this situation of 9 to 5, that has been smashed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just got to be careful. Is what I think is not to like where Aston's going is not to become addicted to your job in that sense.
Exactly.
Like a lot of
extra being online.
Just giving them the extra hours technically for free. If you work an 8-hour day, 9 till 5 or whatever, 8 till 4, and you find that 7, 8, 9 o'clock, you're still sitting there replying to emails and doing things that you technically don't need to be doing at that hour. You're changing your narrative, and now people are going to expect that from you going forward if you're going to be working those sort of hours. So just remember self-care. Like you've got to implement that as well.
Proportion it out.
I thought he was alluding to the fact that she was on Facebook, but I hear what you're saying, and that's a valid point. I never really. Sorry,
physical activity. I shut down my computer. There is only a particular section of my house that's work, and I physically walk out of that space and say that's done, and I don't go back to it. And I'm like, I have left work, and then I come back and open up the computer and do other stuff. But I don't. There's a physicalness in saying work is done, because there's the whole thing, and I kind of miss that madness, the rush hour and boxing people out the way in the city centre, because you have to, don't you? And I've got a walking stick sometimes, so I go through town. I don't need the walking stick. I just use it. It's a tool to kind of get people coming out of my way. So I look like an old lady.
Should have said that.
I look like an old lady. Well, no.
Let people know on Facebook that we will be shifting in the next 2 minutes to YouTube. So please be aware that when we do say goodbye to you in the next couple of minutes, you will be able to continue this conversation with us on YouTube. Okay?
Yeah. There's a piece of works that I came across a few years ago now. Over 15 years ago now. The 1 Minute Manager, right? In that way, there, it got work that you could basically concise a lot of work in a short time.
Absolutely.
Just being working succinctly,
Smarter and not harder. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just get carried away of I have to do this, chasing, not realizing that they can actually be in control if they actually think succinctly, and act succinctly as well. So you've got the rest of the day.
Go on. I was going to say it's also about having boundaries and knowing what your times are going to be and sticking to them, because a lot of people say, I can't do this, I can't do. Yes, you can. And it's about thinking, well, okay, if I set this as my standard, people know where they stand with me, and they know that they can't take advantage of me. Even when I was working in the office, they knew, here's where I start, here's where I finish, bye, I'm gone. Don't call me. And I never used to get calls outside of the hours I worked. I would never get it, because they know I wouldn't answer the phone, number one. And number two, you don't want to annoy me by calling me outside the hours.
I think that's I think maybe that is where the disadvantage could lie, in that not everybody is that disciplined and that structured, and that the workplace gives you that. It gives you that. The moment you walk in through those office doors or whatever door, you walked into a structure that you're part of the cog, and that's what you do. Whereas when you're at home, it's totally different. I mean, I've been at home sometimes, and I'm sitting down and I think I'm working, And when I look back at the end of the day, I've got nothing done.
That's true.
Yeah, that's me, isn't it?
But you have to definitely set those boundaries, and I agree with what everybody's saying. It is really, really important because they talk about work-life balance. And I've been saying no, that's wrong. It's life-work balance because my work isn't my life. My life is my life, and work is something that I do as a means to an end. So I switch it around and say life-work balance. As a pastor, it is a 24-hour-a-day job. I've had I remember years ago getting a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sorry to cut you, Pastor. Could we all please say goodbye to Facebook and also
Bye, Facebook.
Bye, Facebook.
And also
YouTube.
to Get Me Radio.
Join us on YouTube.
And let Get Me Radio. Say goodbye to Get Me Radio.
Bye,
Get Me Radio.
Bye.
Take care. Thanks for having us.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Yes, continue.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I've got phone calls in the morning, and I've had there's two particular ones I can remember. You know, one was 3 o'clock in the morning, one was 5:30 in the morning, and the person on the other end of the phone was saying, "They're dead, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead," and I'm like, "Slow down." And the first call was a mother whose son had just died. It was a 2-year-old child that tragically died in the house, and they were in the hospital and they just pronounced the child dead. And I got that call at 5 o'clock in the morning. And another one was, they're not breathing, they're not breathing, they're not breathing. And that person passed away as well. So as a pastor, my job is 24 hours a day, but I still have to put boundaries in because it will impact my marriage, it'll impact me personally, it'll impact my children. And you have to do it. You know, one of the things I do is Monday, because obviously Sundays is church. So Sundays is a busy day for me. So I have a rule on Monday. You don't call me on Monday unless you're dying or you want to give me money.
You say that. Nothing serious. Call me, yeah?
If you're dying or you're going to give me money, you can call me on Monday. But other than that, don't call me. And I got my phone.
What if you wanted to get married?
Don't call me on Monday. Call me on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
But I got my phone here, and my phone will ring. My
Like
phone will ring, and I will look at the phone and just let it ring, or I press the button on the side, reject. Because you have to do it. Because I can't give you something that I don't have. If I'm worn out, burnt out, mashed up, I can't give you what you need. I'll be disingenuous to you by trying to give you less of me. And we have to make those personal choices. We have to make we have to protect our space. And we have to have the balance. The one thing I like what Rudi said about going into the office. I go to work. I pull up in the car park. I go in and then I'm in work mode. But when I leave the building, even while I'm in the car park, I have switched off.
Switched off, yes.
I have completely switched off. Now, what I do is easier for me to do. But you have that separation, which is vital. If you're working from home, the lines can be blurred, and that's when you have to be very particular. You have to be very disciplined.
Yeah.
Like what Coach Astrid said, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to say, no, laptop lock, boof.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. So if your phone ring on Monday, you better be giving me money because I don't want to be telling you that. I don't want to be planning your funeral.
I like it. I like that. Yes.
You have that as well, don't you, Astrid? Because you have a Wednesday where nobody.
Every Wednesday, I do I do meditation every single morning except Wednesday. Wednesday is my self-care day, and so therefore, not doing it. Do your own thing on Wednesday. I'm back on Thursday, and that's it. Because even Rudi has said sometimes he's forgotten and looking for me on the Wednesday and realised, oh yeah, I need to go back to Tuesday then.
So if I want to give you money on Wednesday, Astrid, what do I do?
Just send it to my bank account. That's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Just send it straight through. You don't need to speak to me. Just send it to my bank account.
Yeah, that's true. I'd lie. Go ahead.
I'll get a ping that you've sent it.
For me, notifications are off, mate. I don't have notifications on my phone. I really don't.
Oh, when it's to do with my bank, those are the ones that stay on. All the rest come off.
Everything else comes off. I've taken off all my notifications because once you start joining groups,
it
can become quite annoying.
It's mad.
Yeah.
I think there's those boundaries, you know, like just respect other people's time. I find that with some of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, we've got a lot of people from overseas. So therefore, when we say, you know, don't post anything after 10 p.m., it means nothing to them because it's not 10 p.m. where they are.
I've been kicked out numerous amount of groups, man. I work best when it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I just look to get stuff out. And I have been kicked out several groups because people are going, you know, read the rules. You know, she said you're not supposed to post around certain time. I'm like, well, you know, it's just so happens this is how I actually operate. And sorry, I got to leave the group, you know what I mean? But what can I say? I think I've been kicked out about 8 groups. Yeah, about 8, man.
I've been very conscious about the amount of groups that I'm in. So people have asked, do I want to be in a group? And I go, well, can you email me?
Okay.
Can you email me? I'll look at it at some point in the day because I know if I'm in a WhatsApp group, I've had loads of invitations. Like, can you email me? Oh, well, we'll probably only send you 1 or 2 a day. That's fine. So I'd rather people email me just because there's just an overload of WhatsApp groups. And that's quite within the group, you know, they say let's not post about a certain topic anymore. You know, we've seen enough of it. We know what's going on. And then like 3-4 days straight afterwards, the one thing they said they weren't going to talk about, somebody's been triggered, and it's just negative, death, black on black crime, divorce, cheating. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I thought these groups were supposed to uplift me and make me feel good about being in the skin that I'm in, if that makes sense. We're supposed to be uniting and coming together and breaking down boundaries and having conversations. And right about now, there's like 15 people in this one group that I just want to slap, let alone. You were talking about cheating. That relationship guru this week. Did you see that the whole stuff that's been on absolutely everywhere? Derek Jackson.
Don't even mention it. Don't give him no more publicity. Him no need, not never mention.
It's just hilarious, really. It
is hilarious. It is hilarious, though.
Hilarious. Just wow. You know, you sit in your car, not quite like you, Pastor, sat in your car, being a bit judgmental. Really, he said, and then suddenly he's quite subdued and holding his wife's hand, and I just thought, oh, okay, I'm good.
Sitting in the car outside his missus's house, but somebody else's house.
I didn't used to watch all the. No. Watch the other.
Oh, he would sit in the car and do that, and he would be outside the woman's house that he was sleeping with.
Wait, are we talking about the what's the
relationship guru? Yeah.
Derek Jackson.
Yeah,
Derek Jackson.
Yeah.
And so many people are really upset by him because he actually got people to believe what he was saying because he had really good explanations and all the rest of it, and he was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, but he was coming from a place of experience, so it might have sounded.
Hold on. Okay, older sisters. So what about Jada?
What about her?
What
happened to Jada?
What about her? That's the past. We're talking about what's
she was doing exactly the same thing.
Are you talking about entanglement now?
Yeah, but she sat with her husband and talked about
it. Yeah, he was better than you. That's why I went with him. He was better. Yeah, she sat down and spoke to her husband about it.
She sat there with her husband. She didn't go out there and say to people, well, men are this and women are this. Derek went and ripped men to shreds and said how awful they were and how they needed to elevate women. That's what he kept saying and why they were doing this, that, and the other. And he was doing exactly that. He was coming from a place of experience. That's the only good thing that he could say.
He was being the narcissist that he was talking about.
Yeah, he was just. He had a hashtag that says "Black men don't cheat." Like, why would you do that? Why have you said
no? Hold on. If he's saying that, that means he's saying in his mind is that this ain't cheating. This is what I want to do.
He was doing research.
Is it not?
Oh, he's doing
Research. Oh, Lord.
Research, really? Really?
I think the funniest thing I saw was Dizzle, the comedian, saying that the last time you went to church was when you were christened. I just thought
Right,
it
sound like that.
You just don't come talking to me about God because the last time you went to church was when you was christened. I just thought, yeah, funny, just really nice.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
oh
less
yeah.
of him, more of whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've only seen him a few. I've seen him a few times, and I think this man is too smug for his own good.
It
So
really is.
I just park him to the side in that way. That's so, you know.
I must admit, when I saw him, I said he looks very polished, and then I remembered that you can't polish a turd. So.
Wow.
I like that. I like that.
Oh.
I like the way you crowbarred that one in, mate.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what you call crowbarred in.
I still haven't sworn. I'm doing well.
Bless you.
Hey.
Oh
my gosh.
Interesting week. It has been an interesting week.
Yeah,
and it has been, and like a lot of the school children are back at school. I live on the back of a school, not too far from. So watching a lot of the children coming with masks and walking, and then seeing teachers walk down the road with like
Just out of curiosity, is this the gentleman you're talking about?
Yes. That's him.
Yes.
Yes. Hilarious.
I'm gonna send her a bonnet. She needs a decent bonnet, man.
That is obviously his wife, is it? That's his wife.
Yes,
obviously.
Hold on.
They've got 2 kids.
Wait a minute. Look, that's his wife, right? And he come and bring her in a public eye. Unfortunate to say, looking like that.
Because,
looking like that.
No, but when you just look at the whole body language, he's leaning to her, she's leaning away. There's no happiness in her body at all.
No, man.
You didn't think she's done up the
And
flies.
she's awkwardly holding his hand. If you see,
He's got her hand.
And he's squeezing it in the video, like proper squeezing it up. Literally, the poor girl don't have no blood left in that hand by the time he finished recording.
He gets 50% of everything, so we're good with that.
She won't go call her cousin.
She want more than that. She has 2 children.
Oh yeah.
No,
75%.
She want call her cousin them to come and deal with his backside.
But you know, also, Aston, one of the statements that you made about he brought his wife on looking like that. Doesn't matter how she looks, she's his wife.
Doesn't matter.
No, but the thing is, watch her now. If I'm there, right, and hey, you know what, my partner.
Remember, you've been divorced,
who I'm with, yeah. Listen, no. Wait a minute.
Close your eyes.
Let me tell you something now. One of the things that I do pride myself on, and I'm very fortunate that I had the 2 wives that I had, right, that they always presented themselves good.
Come on,
You
Henry.
said 2. You never said what?
He said 2.
Christ. You know what? Jesus Christ.
Right. Right. That they always presented themselves right in a very good way, right? And the thing is that I personally, right, I had to fix myself up before to be able to stand beside them. You understand?
I totally agree with you.
Can we just put
I totally agree with you, Aston.
Hold on.
I think that with a platform that he has, he could have presented his wife in a much better light.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I agree with you on one level, Julie. I agree with you on one level. It shouldn't really matter, right?
Yeah, but I think he wanted to present her as a really humble, homely person that would have. It should have been this all glamorous. People would have said, "Well, why did you?" I think he just wanted to show that he was a true family man. We're in our home.
Is that really coming across?
No, it isn't. But that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
I think what I captured from it, the video, this like thing that he did was very early in the morning, and to me, it looks like he's realised the backlash of what's happened overnight. He's gone home. He's tapped the missus in bed and says, I need you for 2 minutes. I need you, to actually do something, because I'm not saying she looks bad, but it literally looks like he's dragged her out of bed. She's chucked on the first thing that she's found. She's not even wearing a bra. Her flies are not done up on her jeans. She is not.
Wow, I didn't watch it that hard.
I didn't even notice that, actually.
Yeah, sorry. I went deep into it because I'm like, what this man's doing, he's just trying to save his skin. He's not looking at anything else apart from, I just need to show myself as being in a happy relationship. Now, he's made her look a little bit silly in regards to her appearance. Yeah, she could have covered herself up. Yeah, she could have been more prepared. They've got a PR team. They know what marketing and branding is. But what she needs to do now is leverage off of this. She has now got all eyes on her, which she technically was saying she should leave him, but she can now create something for herself.
You know what? That's what I see when I look at her. She's like, all right.
No. Yeah.
I saw it, girl. I saw it, girl. Look at that look, man. That looks like payback time, rude boy.
I tell you, bring your cousin round them and let them have a word with him in the garage.
That ain't gonna change him, because unfortunately, don't forget, it takes two. Yeah, so women know this man is married. Yeah, it's not like he's hidden the marriage. He hid the wife, but he didn't hide the marriage. So if you're gonna kick open your foot for something that you know it doesn't belong to you, at the end of the day, he's with it's a two-way street. So I'm not gonna kick down his go unless we're gonna go down and kick down the women as well who invited it or encouraged it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
wow,
interesting way in how we responded immediately.
That is a very uncomfortable. That's just a still, and I'm going to tell you now. I see certain characteristics in that, right, which is very, very uncomfortable and extremely controlling, right?
Yeah.
And that woman there, right? They may say, okay, yeah, this is my wife and everything like that. I'm going to tell you now, when that camera stops rolling, right, there's a totally different tempo going on there, right? Yeah. And that is just from looking on that thing there, so. Yeah, that woman is
doing what he
living
could
in fear.
to salvage, to save himself rather than his wife.
Rubbish.
It was very narcissistic. So,
Rev, you're very quiet on this one.
I'm looking at his website, actually. I'm looking at his website.
And I'm sure that you've come across this before.
I'm looking at his website. It's very professional. Heal Together. He's got a book called Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other.
Yeah. That's the latest book that he keeps promoting. So
that ain't going to sell no more. That's going to crash.
Or maybe this has all come out to help with the book because it's about healing together without hurting each other.
Wasn't it Candice, what's her name, was the one that said that she'd had an affair with him and that they'd what's her name? Is it Candice? What's her name?
I think the thing that
after all of that came out, apparently he'd been with her the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Even though he said he hadn't done anything with anybody for 6 months.
The time don't matter, man.
It don't make, these things, any relationship breakdown, any divorce, it really bothers me personally, because it tears at the fabric of a family, it tears at the fabric of community.
Yes.
And the ripple effect goes on it can go on for generations, and it's deeply upsetting. But it's the reality of life. But me personally, I made a covenant agreement with my wife, and I'm not gonna break it no matter what. I would rather be dead than cheat on my wife.
Don't you think that everybody who gets married initially feels that way?
Absolutely. And you know what it is, Rudy? Let me tell you what it is. In my church, we do marriage guidance for 1 whole year.
Yeah.
1 whole year. And what I say to my congregation is that the marriage guidance is, you come to me, say, I think I love this woman. I think I love this man. We're thinking about getting married. So I say, do the marriage guidance before you even set a date, even before you get engaged, because the marriage guidance process should help you recognize that either I'm not ready to be married or I shouldn't be marrying you because we're not compatible. But most people, what they do is they come to me and say, Pastor, we set a date for a wedding. Can we have counsel? Now, if I do the counseling, you really ain't going to pay attention to anything I'm saying because you've already set the date. And the reality is with marriage is that if you get the right information before you walk down the aisle, and you understand who you are before you walk down the aisle, that will make a massive difference to your marriage. Massive. It doesn't mean that your marriage is still not going to go wrong, but if you get the right information before you walk down the aisle.
Foundation.
Listen, I would. It was about 4 years ago. I was at a conference, a men's conference, and the speaker was a guy called Dr. A.R. Bernard, and he wrote a book called 4 Things Every Woman Wants from a Man. Now, at the time, he'd been married for 44 years, had 7 children and 21 grandchildren. Wow. So he was selling the book, and he said at the end of the session, the book would be for sale. Now, I'd been married at that point now for 19 years, and I'm happily married. So he's preaching. I got up in the middle of the session and went and bought the book. At the end of the session, people were rushing out to buy the book, sellout. Because I'm sitting there thinking, this man wrote a book. He's put 44 years worth of wisdom into this book. I can read in 1 week what it took him 44 years to learn. So I went and bought the book because I'm thinking, I need to know what you know.
Yeah.
He asked his wife what
You
she
see the
thought
value.
about the
You
book.
see the value.
You see the value, yes.
He asked his wife at the end when she read the manuscript. He asked her wife, "What did you think?" And her response was, "You were listening."
Wow.
So I'm thinking, what he actually wrote in the book was that his wife was carrying twins, and because of his bad behavior, she lost the twins.
Oh wow.
Now, I don't know if the bad behavior was adultery. I don't think so, but I don't know. But to be honest, to say that, I'm thinking I need to know because I need to know what this man knows. So, the thing with marriage is that no one walks down the aisle wanting to get divorced or wanting no one. I mean, there are a few unscrupulous people out there. We know that. But the reality is people, they walk down the aisle, they say, they genuinely believe this is till death us do part. But the problem is we're not prepared enough before we say I do. And that's the real issue. That's the real issue.
Understand, sisters, why we take so long to ask you. We want to make sure. Okay, we've got 5 children, but you still can't be too sure if we've made the right decision. So time to get to ask you. Yeah?
Don't worry, ladies, I'm praying for him.
Please do. Please do.
I'm praying for him.
On that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great morning, especially having Kevin join us. Every time he comes up, I've asked him if he could do this for us at least once a month because I know that he's a busy man. So is that we can actually pin our Friday rants into his diary. But we're aware that you can get called away at any moment. I mean, last week we were hoping to have you, but your diary once again caught up with yourself. So we're looking forward to having you back in April.
And I promise that the backdrop will be sorted in times. So if I put my PayPal details in the chat, y'all can send me something and I can go on a nice Mac.
I love it.
So ladies, would you like to say your goodbyes, starting with Lescha?
It's been a pleasure as always. Thanks for just allowing me to get what I needed off my chest.
You're right.
Lovely. Julie.
Have a great weekend, everyone. I'm going to bake. Standard. Take care.
Lovely. Coach Astrid.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow morning, 8:30 for Mindful Mindset Meditation.
Don't forget now. Aston now.
Greetings. Listen, have a great next 7 days until we see you again, okay?
So once again, we're out of here. Thank you very much for joining us on this Friday. It's been a year on COVID. As you can see, there are pluses and there are minuses to do with this. And it's all about feeling comfortable with whatever decisions you decide to make with regards to what's going on with the pandemic. Okay. I know that sounds but please do have a pleasant weekend, and please join me for 15 minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudi Lickwood tomorrow. We'll be talking to a gentleman by the name of Ben Hudson, who is a charcoal artist. All right, so you guys take care. Peace out.
What you talking about this
It was a cassette. You know when you had to push the pencil into the hole. Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice. As a Christian, you know, my Christian beliefs are they're very strong, and I'm not going to violate my relationship with God to please another human being.
But straight away, black, red flag, very community wide. Are we the guinea pigs now?
I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all.
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know. But I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, their trauma.
But in Ubuntu, we have programs that kind of look at identity, raising self-esteem, looking at our history.
Often when you watch the news and stuff, everyone's talking about race. And I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
And if you ain't got enough to do in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. We've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be rife throughout our community now.
If she's saying pie, that means that 8:15 has gone, man.
15 minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudi Lickwood, Saturday morning mayhem.
Morning, darling.
Hey, everyone.
What about them telephone? Come on, put up the telephone.
Join them with interviews.
There's no formula there. That's what I'm saying.
Peter, hear me out, Peter. It said, can you write down the number 8 times? That means no, it's not times. That multiplication. It said write it down 8 times, Peter.
And quizzes.
Doesn't mean you can't repeat a word. It means you can't repeat the same sentence.
All right then. Let's see then.
Countryman is
and
not
you can't stall.
Countryman, yeah, and you're not allowed to store him. I'm going to ring a bell in a moment. Okay, and I'm going to leave the room. And that's when the conversation will take place.
You married?
I am not.
You ever had an affair?
I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't.
You did say it twice.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't ask me the same question twice. I agree. The same question shouldn't be asked twice.
You did no, you did well.
A few people are saying he did.
Wait, hold on. You know what? There's a lot of bitterness in here, yeah? And I know where the bitterness is coming. I know where the bitterness is coming. Bitter.
He says in his chat.
You're bitter.
15 minutes with Rudi Lickwood and DJ Countryman. Saturday mornings, gonna be the same again.
Incredible.
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood, the topical interactive chat show where you may end up being one of the guests.
So what is
with
this
special guests and
craze
the audience
to depopulate the
with
planet?
Rudi Lickwood?
Who them gonna
This event
populate
is brought
with?
to you by Comedy Hotspot. Don't forget, keeping it real
Britain.
with Rudi Lickwood.
As approximately 60 odd million, nearly 70 million people in the area mass 88,000 square miles of land. Ghana, which is one of the smallest countries in Africa, has a population of approximately 30 million, with a land mass of 92,000 square miles of land. So where is overpopulated?
Right.
China has 1.3 billion people. Yeah. Yet China can fit within the southern regions of Africa. Yeah.
Alone.
Alone. And that area don't have 1 billion people.
Right.
So where is overpopulated? Who are they
Right.
talking about? People need to learn and study science, geography, and mathematics. Don't let these people come and bamboozle you. Malcolm X tell us already, you've been bamboozled. No, we haven't. We're
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood. This is an 18 certificate only.